Basketball. Mountaineer Talk is also brought to you by Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, the official soft drink of your App State Mountaineers. And by UNC Health Blue Ridge, moving healthcare forward together. Now, to get things started, here's your host, Matt Present.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Mountaineer Talk here from River Street Ale House in Boone. Glad to have you with us here in person or across our radio network. Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, moving healthcare forward together. Busy show on tap for today. Two programs, the men's and the women's here at App State, on a roll. The men have won 3 straight. The women off to a 4-1 start to Sun Belt play, and so we're excited to chat about that here today. Dior Connors alongside will kick off the show. Neira on the women's side will join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. If you have a question for them or either of our head coaches, you can get that to us several different ways. Hashtag Mountaineer Talk on Twitter. You can email us, mountaineertalk@gmail.com, or you can text us or leave a voicemail at 828-295-2063, 828-295-2063, or drop a comment on our Facebook live stream. All right, Dior. 3-game winning streak. You've won the last 2 games by 20 points. Just describe the kind of confidence you guys are playing with right now.
We're playing with a lot of confidence. You know, these wins have definitely helped us get a lot of motivation up under us, especially coming from losing a couple games in a row. These games have been big for us, so we're looking to keep the momentum going into this away stretch.
I think the consistency during these couple games, the constants that have helped you guys to some pretty comfortable wins are the way you've shared the basketball and the way you've shot the basketball. Speak to the way in which you guys have developed chemistry on the court over this most recent stretch and how you've ended up with so many high-quality looks.
It really just comes with being in the gym and repetition, you know, playing with each other. We trust each other, and we just being in the gym every day, we trust each other to knock down shots when we're open, and we trust guys to take big shots. So just having that confidence in each other, I would say, is the biggest thing.
You talk about guys who take big shots. I don't know if there's been a bigger shot made this season than the one you hit against William and Mary. Game-winning 3-pointer with 0.2 seconds on the clock to give head coach Dustin Kerns his 100th career win in Boone. As you think back to that moment, what comes to mind? What is the biggest memory that you'll take away from such an exciting finish?
Well, that was an amazing experience. That was my first game winner ever, so that was big for me. But even just that game, like, really shout out Miles Tate because he had a big game, and really the call was for him to get a bucket. And, you know, Miles Tate is a great player, great IQ, so him making that pass and me hitting that shot was really just routine. And like I said, it's repetition. We do that every day in the gym. So
you're from Columbus, Ohio, and it was announced today the MAC SBC Challenge will take us to your home state in about a month as App State takes on Ohio in Athens. Speak to your excitement to get back home, and what do you know about Ohio and kind of their basketball history?
I'm excited to go back to Ohio and definitely play in front of family. I haven't been able to play in Ohio just in my collegiate career yet, so that'll be big. Family will definitely be there. And Ohio's a great place to play. You know, they produce a lot of good basketball players. I would say that it's really a basketball state. I mean, we have a good football team too, but I don't know. We definitely produce a lot of good basketball in Ohio, though, for sure. So I'm excited.
No doubt about it. You got a football team, though, in the national championship next week, so it's not just a basketball state. You talk about your upbringing in Columbus, and initially you go the JUCO route. What was in that initial decision-making process through your high school recruitment as you went to Triton to begin your career?
I dealt with a lot of injuries throughout high school, so it kind of slowed down my recruitment. So that kind of ended up letting me to go to JUCO and really just bet on myself because I always felt like I could play at the Division I level. So going JUCO, I really just decided to bet on myself and test the waters and see what I could do, and it ultimately led me here. So I'm blessed.
Well, and you not only had some really good individual success, but you were the runner-up for the JUCO national title, got to play the title game on national TV. What was that experience like to go on a run like that and really give yourself a chance to win a national championship?
It was an amazing experience, and I love my guys from last year. I still talk to them to this day. And that was a special group of guys, so I really appreciate them. So, but it was a tough run. We played a lot of good teams down there, and it was just exciting to be there. We never expected us to really be there, so the fact that we got there and made it as far as we did was really just a blessing for us, really.
I think the way you talk about the fact that you had injuries, may have been under-recruited, felt like you had the opportunity to succeed at the Division I level, I think that speaks to a lot of JUCO players. Mm-hmm. Just describe the kind of nature of JUCO basketball, playing with and against so many guys with a chip on their shoulder.
Oh, yeah, you got to have that chip on your shoulder in JUCO. I mean, there's really no excuses, and you're really playing for something bigger than yourself. You're really trying to put your name out there just because you probably didn't have the opportunity in high school. But JUCO is a real grind. It's serious. A lot of people out there trying to make it out, and a lot of people don't. And for the ones that do, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of grind.
So for you, following last season, trying to make that transition to the Division I level, how did App State get on your radar?
So App State had got on my radar around the tournament time. I started talking to them right after it, and I told them I was really ready to make my decision, and I'm thinking about coming to App. And once I came on a visit, it was just love at first sight, really. So they made it really easy for me to commit. I believe I actually committed on the visit. So.
What do you remember about that visit? What did they break down with you or show you that was so eye-catching?
Well, first when I got here, it was the scenery. I've never really been around mountains, Ohio being a real flatland area. The mountains definitely caught me by surprise. I like that a lot. And then just I would say the plan that they have for success for each player, and the way that they have the success plan for me and the things that they showed me really opened my eyes, like they really care, so they made it really easy.
What's been the process like now that you have since committed, gotten on campus, starting to find your way throughout the summer into the fall with a new group of teammates? What's that process of building chemistry and getting to know guys on a new team?
It's always difficult, trying to mesh with new guys, but I would say this one felt even natural. Me and the guys click on and off the court, so they make it really easy, and I would say that we bonded within the first week of me meeting them, so I love those guys.
That's awesome. Not just a basketball player, but a businessman. I got to ask you, how is the clothing business Urgent Society treating you?
Urgent Society is treating me very well. We actually have an upcoming drop coming up soon. Can't release the date yet because I'm still trying to get all the back.
Top secret, okay.
Yes, sir. But it will be coming in the next month or so, so be on the lookout for that for sure.
Awesome. Well, exciting stuff. Dior, appreciate you joining us here on Mountaineer Talk, and continued success to you this season.
I appreciate you.
Dior Connors joining us here on Mountaineer Talk to kick off the show. Stay tuned. Head coach Dustin Kerns joins us right after this. But before we go, future Mountaineers, if you're enrolled in one of App State's 9 partner community colleges, you can seamlessly transition to App State after you complete your associate's degree. This program includes guaranteed admission, dedicated advising, and coordinated financial aid programs. Check it out at aspire.appstate.edu. Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, continues right after this.
A winning team is more than the sum of its parts, in sports and in life. At Blue Ridge Energy, we share the same commitment to excellence as the Appalachian State men's and women's basketball teams. That's why we'll never stop working to provide the energy solutions your family needs and the community deserves. Blue Ridge Energy is proud to be part of the community, proud to be part of App Nation, and proud to partner with App State. Together, we're powering a brighter future. Go Mountaineers!
Covering App State University takes the strongest wireless service in the area. With Carolina West Wireless, Mountaineers get the most reliable coverage on campus and across the country with our award-winning high-speed nationwide network. We offer the latest devices and technology at a great value with an exceptional local customer service.
go as we roll along here on Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health. Blue Ridge head coach Dustin Kerns alongside. His comments brought to you by Blue Ridge Energy, powering a brighter future. Coach, 3-game winning streak right now, the last 2 by 20-plus points. I imagine you have to feel pretty good about the way your team is playing.
Yeah, we're playing well. Certainly great to be at home, and certainly appreciate everybody coming out with the weather and seeing our team play. And thanks to all the workers that cleared the roads and the parking lots, and my neighbor Rick, who I had to park at the bottom of our neighborhood and took me to my house and picked me up the next morning. It was a game changer there. So appreciate everybody that came out to the game and saw us and the women get a big win. And so it was a great day to be a Mountaineer. That
is some elite shuttle service you got then.
It was very helpful.
I would imagine.
When you're carrying your suit, at 7:45 in the morning, Rick came through.
Have you, over the course of your career, are there any games, any moments that come to mind where you weren't sure what the weather might bring you on a game day?
Yeah, there was one time last year, and then this year, certainly, once again, couldn't get home, just parked at the bottom of my neighborhood. There was certainly a practice a couple years ago. Had to do a lot of walking to to get picked up. But hey, that's part of it, and that's part of the beauty of living here in the high country.
There are any snow activities that are enjoyed in the Kerns household? What do you guys do in the snow?
After Saturday's win, which was great, we went home. We all went out, just the 4 of us, and the dog, of course, and did a little sledding in the neighborhood to before dinner. So yeah, we got a little snow time in.
That's perfect. All right, got the snow time in, got the win. We'll get to Dior Connors in a minute, but I feel like you look back at these last couple of games, you've shared the ball so well, you've shot the ball so well, and it all starts with that high pick and roll with Miles Tate and your bigs. Just how has that dynamic led to the success that you have had?
Well, I think it starts on the defensive end. I think we're defending really well. We're scoring off our defense. We had 23 points on Saturday off turnovers and things like that. So it's taken some pressure, so much off of our offensive possessions to allow us to play a little bit more loose and free and confident there. But we're sharing the ball well. We're moving the ball from side to side very well. And, certainly, Miles and Alonzo up the high ball screen is just kind of created a domino and allowed our guys to kind of create some space for a guy like Dior Connors, who's shooting well over 40% from 3.
So Dior talked about he comes on a visit, commits on the spot. I would imagine that your research into him and your guys' scouting and film watching of him dated back a little bit prior to that moment. What are the things that stood out initially on film that intrigued you about his game?
Well, Dior's a guy that we called, going into his junior year of high school as a guy that we, certainly, Ohio, certainly not right around the corner, but certainly a guy that we called on June 15th, going into your junior year, that, when you're allowed to first make that call. So that was, good to circle back with him. Dior, is a guy that was very successful at junior college. Really helped Triton to go to a national championship game. I think the first in school history, from understanding, I think they went 33-2 or 1. I don't want to, but like that's a lot of wins, right? 33 wins, and he was a major part, all right, of that team. And certainly his shooting really attracted us. But we had some really good Zooms with him and his family. Yatifa, Denari, great family. We enjoyed having them down. And then it was just a fit, right? It was just a fit on and off the court. Just really fits us personality-wise, academic-wise. He had a really great, semester academically here. But then also, from a basketball standpoint, having another guy in that backcourt that can shoot the ball like him, that had won at a high level, was very, really attractive to us.
And he shot the ball well this season, over 40% from 3, as you mentioned. He's made a 3 in 8 consecutive games. But beyond,
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good stat. Yeah.
Let's keep that up, right?
Let's keep that going.
Beyond just the made shots, what has he brought from an intangible perspective to this group?
Yeah, I think that, certainly he's a great teammate. He's great in the locker room. But also, like, he just being on the court stretches other teams' defense. Just Dior Connors just standing along the three-point line gives Miles Tate more space, right? And so just because of his percentages and how he shoots the ball, so literally he helps our team by just being on the floor. And, he's been a guy that has, made some really good plays on the defensive end as well. But certainly he's a guy that started, 9, 10 games in a row, and he's earned that. And, certainly, just doing really well in all facets of our program.
And as we talked about with him a moment ago, we're going to get a chance to take him back to his home state of Ohio. We'll talk about that as Mountaineer Talk continues right after this.
You're locked in to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, talking all things App State basketball. Let's rejoin your host, Matt Present.
Welcome back to the show. Mountaineers enter the Ultimate Mountaineer Hoops giveaway. One lucky winner will receive 2 tickets to the App State versus Georgia State doubleheader on Saturday, February 1st, to Dustin, Kerns, and Alaura Sharp autographed basketball, and a $100 gift card to Alumni Hall. Go to alumnihall.com and pick App State to enter. We continue our conversation with head coach Dustin Kerns, and going to break, we talked about the fact that Dior Connors and this team are heading to Ohio to play the Bobcats in the MAC SBC Challenge next month. Year 2 of this competition, and I'm sure you're excited to be able to bring a player of yours back to his home state.
Yeah, we talked to him when we were recruiting Dior that we would definitely be playing a game in that region, and that there were several options in Ohio, right? And so sure enough, we get Ohio, and we get a chance to take him back home and have his friends and family see him play, which is exciting. Against an Ohio team that, has been to the Sweet 16 in the last 10 years. When we were in March Madness in 21, they beat Virginia. This is a very good program. I don't know much about them. certainly the details of the film, other than it's a really good program and a program that, will be a big test for us.
Yeah, to echo your point, they've made 10 postseason tournaments since 2000. So it's not just the fact that they've been good recently, which they have, but they've been good over the last couple of decades. Year 2 of this challenge, what is it like playing another quality non-conference opponent once you have some conference play under your belt?
Yeah, last year I kind of enjoyed it. Last year, played Toledo at home here, and it was kind of a good kind of reset, change of pace, and obviously we were in part of an incredible game here with Toledo. But, I think it almost recharges a little bit. You kind of just have a little bit of like I said, a change of pace, and so certainly I think it's been good for our league to continue to get a quality home game and get a quality road game, and certainly I feel like our league is signed. We've got at least 2 more years of it, which is good.
It'd be hard not to have enjoyed that double overtime win last year. I mean, that was as good a basketball game as you could ask for, and certainly we hope. I think you probably don't hope for double overtime this year around, but certainly we hope for a quality game.
If we win, I'll sign up for it. Yeah.
There you go. Another scheduling note, this coming Thursday, we start a 2-week road trip. The following Thursday at Arkansas State, that game's been picked up on national TV. ESPN2 against the preseason favorite, the team that ended your season a year ago, and certainly it's a different team this year, but in terms of building up narratives, I mean, I think that game has a ton of juice, awfully compelling for ESPN, and I would think for you and your program and recruiting, there's a lot of value in having that game on that platform.
Well, I'll just speak on, the fact that our program continues to get put on national television, right? Like we've been a part of now being selected to be part of these ESPN wildcard Sunbelt games, I think 4 of the last 5, right? And so I just think that continues to elevate our program and play on a national stage. I'm more focused on Old Dominion, who's sitting in first place, and who we play on this Thursday, and certainly James Madison, who we just played, and they're going to be hungry for to get back at us there. But we can talk more about that other game next week. Other than Old Dominion sitting in first place has certainly got my attention right now.
Well, let's talk about Old Dominion, a team that last year certainly Jeff Jones undergoes some health difficulties and he steps away, and there's a lot of turmoil in that program a year ago, and they bring in Mike Jones to his alma mater. He's already eclipsed the win total from last season. They go on the road and beat previously unbeaten South Alabama over the weekend. And last week you talked about the parity in the Sun Belt Conference this year. I think that game is really emblematic of that. What stands out to you in your early preparation for Old Dominion in terms of their strengths, because they are clearly a much improved team from a year ago? Well,
they're playing really confident right now. And, I think, certainly they've always had a really home atmosphere. We've played up there before with 6,000-7,000 people. Coach Jones was a longtime high school coach at DeMatha and won arguably 1,000 games, right? And so it's not his first time being a head coach, and then he's got to the college ranks. I think him and his staff have done a really good job of kind of playing to their strengths of their team. They've got some guys playing really well, and certainly we've got a tall task on Thursday.
I often don't ask you about the Saturday game because I know your preparation starts with the team next on the schedule, but in this case, it's a team you just faced, JMU on the road next week. What are the challenges of playing a team so quickly after you just faced them, and in a situation where you just won so comfortably, not only getting your team up and focused to play again, but certainly the awareness that they're going to make adjustments for next Saturday?
Yeah, and we've got to make some too. I certainly think there's going to be a little bit of both of that. Certainly when you play a team so within, twice in 7 days, certainly every time we've gone to James Madison, that it's been a packed house. I know last year up there was 8,000 people, and so we expect another, hostile environment up there in front of them, and expect them to come out with some fire in their eyes, and certainly looking to get us back from this past Saturday. And so, but I think we've got to make some adjustments too. There's some things that, we played really well. I thought we did some really things well on both sides of the ball, but there's some things that we can certainly tweak and do better.
Well, as you like to say, it's a lot easier to make those adjustments and learn from winning than the other way around. But at the same time, playing some really high-quality basketball, 3 consecutive wins. You've outscored your opponents by 54 points during that stretch. And to bring it full circle to where we started this conversation, talking about how the defense has led that effort, in both of the last 2 wins, it's taken a big run in the back half of the opening half of play, and you guys have used that to just kind of pull away early, and it started by creating turnovers. How much of that is just players executing, and how much of that is game plan that you guys are really keying in on those turnover opportunities?
Well, I'll say this. I think our players have done a really, really good job of late of really diving into our game plan and knowing personnel. And once again, I give our credit to our staff and players for those things. But, like, we got some, quote, scouting report stops, right? And that's our players following through and executing some stuff, which really turned into, to momentum plays. Like we trapped the big kid there to start the game. He turned it over, Miles Tate, layup. That's a big play, right? And just kind of, I felt like that on both sides of the ball, our guys have done a good job of, executing what we've, the plan that we've set out, and really knowing personnel, and certainly that's got to continue. We finished the half their day on an 11-0 run, and then we started the second half on a 4 run, so that's kind of a 15-0 run there, and kind of, set us apart. And I think we got up by 26 or so, but we mixing in some defenses, changing some things up, just trying to be disruptive, change the rhythm of the game. But I also feel like, once again, playing in Boone, playing in front of our fans has become a competitive advantage. I really believe that. We're 22-2 at home the last couple of years, and I think that we've now got an environment, we've got students and community involved where it's really became a hard place to come get a win.
No doubt, and it was great to have the students back on Saturday. Coach, appreciate the time.
Great to be back at the L House. Great, appreciate everybody coming out. Go Mountaineers, take the stairs.
We will shift gears and talk with the App State women's team. Neira joins us right after this timeout. It's Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, and it continues right after this.
A winning team
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Thanks for being with us here at River Street Ale House, or wherever you're picking us up on Facebook or across the Appalachian Sports Network, as we shift our attention to the women's side now. And App State 4-1 now in Sun Belt play, coming off a 3-point win over Coastal Carolina on Saturday. Yeah, give it up. This team is off to a great start, and one of the leaders on this team is with us here tonight, Neira, joining us. And you have a really unique story. You grew up in Spain, you came to the U.S., App State is now your third different stop, but let's start with your previous stop at Presbyterian. You played for Coach Sharp there. You went to the NCAA tournament. You won a conference title. Let's just start with that. How exciting was it to be a part of that team last season with this head coach?
So we won the conference tournament, but the season wasn't that pretty. That was what was beautiful about it. We actually struggled a lot. There was a lot of people getting hurt, so we never imagined that we would even have a chance of winning the tournament. So we won the first game. We were all hyped up. Then we won the semifinals, and we were like, hey, we might do this. And then we go and play the final, and we won it, and it was amazing. I mean, I love all my teammates from PC. Yeah.
Well, I think that is such a great story, because I'm sure there are so many lessons that come along with that. What do you take with you from a season that midway through you might have thought, I don't know that we're going to be that great, to being able to cut down the nets at the finish line? What lessons do you take away from that experience?
I think having team chemistry is the big deal. Even when people on our team was getting hurt, we had people that stepping up and doing the role, and that's how pretty much we won it. We all loved each other, and you could see that outside and on the court. So.
All right, so you wrap up that season at Presbyterian. Coach Sharp gets the App State coaching job. What is her conversation then with you to try to get you here to Boone?
So she got the job, and I found out, and I was actually on vacation in Miami, and I got a text from her, and she was like, hey, when you have free time, can you please call me? And obviously I'm in my head like, is she gonna offer me, or what's happening? And so yeah, we got on the phone, and she obviously talked about us winning the tournament, and that I had to do it was a big deal also that I was in the team, and that she wanted me to come with her. And yeah, then I came on a visit.
Was it an easy yes, or did she have to sell you a little bit beyond that?
I mean, obviously, I already knew the basketball part. I knew her system offensively and defensively. So it was more about me coming here and seeing how Boone was, the facilities, and, new town, new state. And that's why I took the visit.
How much do you feel like, because of your experience with this staff at Presbyterian, that now you're kind of an extension of that coaching staff? You understand the offense and the defensive philosophy, and now you can help impart that on your new teammates.
Yeah, obviously when I came here, I saw a lot of my teammates not struggling, but it was a whole different offense and defense. So I saw myself my first year in PC in them. And they will ask me a lot of questions. Instead of just going to Coach Sharp and start practicing in the middle of it, they would just come to me and whisper like, hey, so what is 55? Or questions like that. And I just feel like me being 2 years with the coaching staff, I was like, okay, so now I know this system. I can actually answer these questions for you. But yeah.
So to go back a little bit further, you grew up in Spain. You've now spent 5 years in the United States playing basketball. That's a big leap. That's a lot of unknowns. What gave you the confidence? What was the motivating factor to make the decision to come to the U.S. in the first place?
So obviously my dream was always to come to the United States. I never thought about playing college. First, I wanted to come here to, high school or something and see how it was. And then there's these agencies in Spain that they just reach you out and help you through the process. And I was like, hey, Mom, some agencies are saying that I could be able to play basketball in the United States and also go to college. Mom was like, you want to do that? I'm like, sure. So obviously I was really I want to do that. I'm really sure about it, but it was really hard the month before actually leaving Spain. I'm like, Mom, I can't do this. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And she was like, you wanted this, you better go now, girl. I was like, okay. So, yeah, I left and never went back.
Fair enough. What has been the thing that you have enjoyed most about your time here in the States?
I think friendships. I think it's all about friendships, especially being an international student, being so away from home. You just, what family is like, you want to come over for Christmas and holidays like that. You just take that to heart and be like, these people are actually good people and they care about you. And I've met wonderful people in Wyoming, in PC, and now upstate.
On the flip side, I'm sure you miss your family, but outside of that, is there a meal? Is there a tradition? Is there something about back home that you miss the most?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely the food. I love food. I mean, I live to eat. And obviously, paella is a big thing for me. It's like rice and different types of seafood all together, and it's a big thing in Spain. Also, where I'm from, octopus is a really big.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. And obviously, there is not here. And I tried to talk to my teammates about it, but they look at me like I'm crazy for eating octopus, but it's amazing.
So you got to convince them to try octopus and get you some paella as well. Mara, appreciate the time. So great to get to know you. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Mara and Neira joining us here on Mountaineer Talk as the women are off to a 4-1 start in Sun Belt play, and we'll talk to head coach Alaura Sharp coming up right after this. And while we know you're enjoying your time here at River Street Ale House, make sure to also check out Town Tavern Blowing Rock for a great dining experience. They're open for lunch, dinner, and later have 19 flat-screen TVs for you to catch the game. They also boast the largest outdoor dining area in the high country, so make sure to stop by Town Tavern Blowing Rock the next time you're up in the high country. Mountaineer Talk continues right after this.
Join your host, Matt Present.
Welcome back to the show. We're live at River Street Ale House in Boone. Thanks for being with us here on this Monday night. Head coach Alaura Sharp joins the show now. And Coach, 1-1 week for your team, but a big bounce back win, a gritty win on Saturday after your first setback in conference play on Thursday against Troy. What did you learn about this team and the way they bounced back on Saturday in a 3-point win?
Yeah, I think we learned that they've got some resilient spirit to them. We didn't feel like we played great on Thursday and gave up one on our home floor and just refused to not do that twice in the same week. And obviously Coastal wasn't an easier team. They were playing really well in conference play. And it was a great experience for our team to close out a close game. We have not really been in that situation. We've either won by double digits or lost by 9 or more. And so it was a great experience for us to have to figure out how to control the tempo in the fourth quarter and deal with a 10-point lead with just a few minutes to go against a team that doesn't really allow you to slow down. They trap and press all over the place. And but just the grittiness to close it out, to bounce back. I think we matured a lot this last week.
Well, Neira was with us a few minutes ago, and she's got a tremendous story. She's been very impressive on the court this season. I want to go back to what she was talking about when you texted her on vacation and you had just accepted the App State job. First, I would think that one of the hardest things for any coach when they take a new job is the conversations with your former players, right? So knowing that challenge, what made her a good fit to bring with you to Boone?
Well, first of all, I do have to clarify. Mara was already in the transfer portal because at Presbyterian we did not have grad school. So with her being a fifth year, so I just want to throw that out there that I didn't text her illegally. I texted her while she was in the transfer portal. But the conversations with your players is really, really hard. I mean, I accepted the job at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and it's 8 o'clock the next morning. You're meeting with your team. It's really sad. It's emotional. And then those players that are returning, you can't really talk to them, and so it's just kind of an aggressive breakup with them, and then you meet your new team on Zoom, and then you're all in, and once the transfer portal closed, then we've been able to communicate with some of those players that are still at Presbyterian. But Mara was a no-brainer, having a player that knows your system on both sides of the ball, and we don't run an easy system and have an easy style of play. It takes time, and so to have a player come in and be the example every day, and her leadership was so imperative in the very beginning. She became a glue player, and right now she's leading us off the bench and scoring, and we've got one of the best bench scoring in the country, and that has a lot of credit to do with her, and obviously really thankful that she came up the mountain.
How has she helped speed up the learning curve for everyone else on this team?
I think helping close the gap between the team and myself. She knows where my heart is, and when I'm holding people accountable and I'm trying to express the vision and everyone else in the room's looking at me like I'm crazy, she's able to kind of close the gap and help them know and understand, no, this is where we're trying to go, and we're trying to get there as quick as we can, and sometimes that's not always pretty and easy and doesn't always feel good all the time, and she's able to help communicate through the team kind of exactly what we're trying to do. And so that's really been helpful, having her be the gap filler.
Usually when I ask coaches about recruiting, it has to do with App State, but you recruited her first at Presbyterian, coming from Eastern Wyoming. What do you remember about how you discovered her and what it was that caught your eye when you first saw her play?
Well, one of my assistants was having me watch a player on the opposing team. And I'm like, I don't know about her, but who's this? And that's how I found her. I just so happened to watch the right game film, and we offered her right away. I think that was maybe even during COVID. And I remember doing a Zoom with her, and she was sitting in her gym, and obviously she ended up coming to Presbyterian and had a great 2 years there, and she can really, really score, obviously, as everyone has been able to watch, and she can fill it up from the three-point line.
What separates her as a shooter?
I think she has a really quick release, has range. Obviously she has a really high basketball IQ, and that's a big part of what we do on offense. Is we always want to have an answer no matter how the defense plays us, and she does a great job of getting to her screens and reading them, and she knows her spots on the floor. I mean, even last year we were down 22 at Queens, and she hit 5 back-to-back threes in a row, and we ended up winning that game right before Christmas break. And so I've just seen her score in bunches. There's other things that she does that she doesn't get a lot of credit for. She's a really good defender. Athletic, she knows our matchup zone. She does a good job of playing the middle of that, and just plays with a ton of effort and energy.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to take a timeout, come back, and take a look at what your team has done well in the road ahead upcoming this week. That's when Mountaineer Talk returns right after this.
Adrenaline fuel, spin, drive.
Presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Now for more App State Hoops talk, here's Matt Present.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk. Chatting with head coach Alaura Sharp here this evening. And coach, we talked with Dustin Kerns about the men traveling to Ohio in the MAC SBC Challenge. You guys also found out your opponent today. It's a home game on February the 8th against Northern Illinois. I'll ask you the same question. What is the importance of getting a chance to play a quality non-conference opponent to break up the conference schedule?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting matchup for us. I mean, it kind of takes your vision away from the conference for a little bit, lets you do something else. It gives you the opportunity maybe to try new things and do things when there's not so much on the ropes. And so I'm looking forward to that too. And I haven't really dove into our opponent a whole bunch. I watched them a while back in non-conference play, but I think as a staff we're pretty excited about the matchup, and we're definitely glad that we're playing at home in February as opposed to going on the road.
Yep, absolutely. You talk about this conference and kind of what's at stake game in and game out. Currently, you're in a 5-way tie for second place, just 5 games in. If that is any indication of how competitive the league has been so far this year, do you have any kind of early first-year impressions of what this conference brings?
I've never ran this much press offense in my life or talked about boxing out. I knew that coming in, that it was a very transition offense, a lot of pressing, a lot of foot speed, and high possession types of offense. And so that's been a great challenge for me as a head coach, is trying to figure out from an X and O standpoint what's the best position to put our team and to be successful against different defenses and presses and different zones and all kinds of things. But it is, everyone kind of calls it the Fun Belt.
Yeah.
And I see why. I mean, there's great coaching, there's really good players, night in, night out. I mean, anyone can beat anybody top to bottom. Obviously JMU's undefeated, but just watching them, I don't feel like there's no one in the league that can beat them. And so I'm excited to continue to focus on our team and grow. And obviously, we have a great opportunity to go see a really quality opponent at Old Dominion, a tough place to play, and looking forward to seeing if our team can have some consistency with competing with one of the best teams in the league.
We'll get to this week's schedule here in a moment, but I want to ask you about your offense for a second. You have so many different players on the court that are capable of making three-pointers. You spread it out, and it puts a ton of pressure on the defense. You could see that with Coastal's bigs on Saturday having to come out and defend and just keep up with the ball movement and the number of shooters on the floor. Just speak to that philosophy and how much that's important to you historically versus how that is tailored to this year's team in particular, but just three-point philosophy across the board, if you will.
Well, it's honestly how we want to take the program and how we really ideally want to recruit to and play. Obviously, we recruited Elena from Croatia, and she was a great fit as far as style of play, having a post player that can step out and shoot it. What we didn't know is how well Rylan Moffitt would develop and be an offensive threat, because it's hard to find bigs and recruit bigs that can shoot the three. And I went back and watched some of her junior college film, and I said, man, why don't you shoot the three anymore? And she said, well, it's just not been something that I've been asked to do. And she was excited when we allowed her to shoot the three again. But playing 5 out and being able to get downhill and get into the paint and kicking out, and it's just kind of what we thought would cause matchup problems and allow us to play different types of lineups and play really however we want to within our motion offense, because we can play 2 posts, 3 posts, 3 guards, different point guards. I mean, literally we can just put who we want on the floor because we play the matchup zone as well. And so we're able to, it gives us a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility, but we're shooting the ball with confidence. On Saturday, I think we hit 9 threes in the first half. We only hit 1 or 2 in the second half. This week we're working on fatigue shooting so we can shoot it a little better in the fourth quarter.
All right, so let's now talk about the week ahead, and it starts with a pair of 4-1 teams on Wednesday night in Norfolk as you travel to play Old Dominion, and then you play Marshall on Saturday. What's your travel philosophy? What's the schedule going to be like for a team this week that's on the road twice on that kind of long road trip Wednesday, Saturday?
Yeah, it's tricky to make that decision and decide what your team needs. It's a tough week. We're going to spend 20 hours on the bus this week, but we went hard today. We're going to go really light tomorrow. When we get to the hotel tomorrow night, we'll stretch and be loose, and then we'll actually go a little bit harder of a shoot around than we normally would, just because we're going to go so light tomorrow, but to get our legs back underneath us. And then we're going to ride home, get home probably around 3 o'clock in the morning. They'll go to class. We'll probably just watch film that day and do a one-day prep for Marshall, and then get back in the bus and head to the Thundering Herd. So our team is older. We actually are able to, having the 8 seniors, we're able to get a lot out of walking through things. We've done a lot of hotel walkthroughs. We even sometimes do a lot of walkthrough just at the end of practice to try to save our legs. Obviously, Eliana Tafisi is playing a lot of minutes for us, and she'll continue to play a lot of minutes till March, and so we got to make sure that we're taking care of their bodies.
Well, and I would think a big thing that helps, not only in terms of having 2 games a week and playing a lot of minutes, but also in these press matchups that you're talking about, is the fact that your bench has been so valuable. Now up to 12th in the nation in bench scoring, outscored Coastal 29-12 in terms of bench minutes. How critical is that in these games, and especially in Sunbelt play where you're so often playing 2 games in 3 days?
It's really fun, honestly. Sometimes I just sub until I find someone that can go rip off about 6 or 8 points. Last week it was Jomani Ingram, it was Sanea Martinez. Sometimes it's Mountaineer, and we have a lot of scoring over there. Sometimes your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. Everyone's kind of looking around. People want more playing time, but when you look up and down our minutes played, I mean, our point guard plays up to 30 minutes, and everyone else is sitting right around 20. So the goal and the hope is that it keeps us fresh and competing for minutes, and just allows us to give different lineups off the bench, because all those players are really different and they have different strengths and weaknesses to their game. Some of them are better than playing our matchup. Some of them are get better when we play man-to-man defense, and it just allows us a lot of freedom. I'm so proud of our staff and just how hard we worked when we got the job at App State. I think we could have just set in and filled up our roster and said, oh, it's our first year, but we just worked really, really hard and weaved through so much game film to try to fit the right pieces, and I still think we have a really high upside as a basketball team. That was probably the best that we defended on Saturday, playing in our man-to-man defense, and we really challenged our team. After our Troy game, we didn't feel like we defended with the right intensity, and that was a great bounce back for Saturday.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Alaura Sharp joining us on Mountaineer Talk as we come back to wrap up the show right after this.
A winning team is more than the sum of its parts in sports and in life. At Blue Ridge Energy, we share the same commitment to excellence as the Appalachian State men's and women's basketball teams. That's why we'll never stop working to provide the energy solutions your family needs and the community deserves. Blue Ridge Energy is proud to be part of the community, proud to be part of App Nation, and proud to partner with App State. Together, we're powering a brighter future. Go Mountaineers!
Mountaineer Talk postgame is presented by Town Tavern Blowing Rock and River Street Ale House, your high country football headquarters. Our great food and drink specials are available throughout the week. Visit us every Thursday for our famous wing night, Mondays for taco night, and Tuesdays for half-price pizzas. Then, as always, we will have all the games on our high-def TVs for a weekend full of football. Come see us at Town Tavern Blowing Rock and River Street Ale House, or visit our newest location.
All right, wrapping up the show tonight, men's and women's teams both looking to continue their success on the road this week. We'll see you next time back here on Mountaineer Talk.
All right, there we go.
You've been listening to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge on the Appalachian Sports Network from Learfield. This week's show has also been brought